finally, the Scouse One has came back for another episode of the F125 My Team Career Mode series, which takes us to round 13 of Season 1, Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And I'm not going to lie, after our form in the last 2 or 3 races, it's not looking good. We have definitely went backwards in our performance, and I don't know if we're going to regain that performance until maybe next season, or at least for the next couple of races. But yeah, we're here for episode 13 of the F125 My Team Career Mode changes, and this is the biggest talking point. Changes to regulations announced. Yep, engine and also aerodynamics. Pretty much 13 weeks to save as many power upgrades and also aerodynamic upgrades as possible. And as you can see, we have minimum 4 right there that we need to save for the aerodynamics, and 3 powertrain upgrades to save as well. So yeah, just like in real life, next season we're going to have a regulation change, and I think the best way to go forward in this career mode series is to just save as many upgrades as we possibly can. And yeah, just wait until season number 2 as far as 2026 as well. You might have seen at the start of the video as we get a supplier upgrade, well, 2 supplier upgrades from Mercedes, that Nico Hülkenberg has actually signed and accepted the contract. So it looks like Nico Hülkenberg will be driving for us in 2026, which is the smart thing and the right thing to do, as we actually have a season break coming up. However, this is where things get interesting. We have early talks with Kimi Antonelli. So if you've been paying along, if you've been paying attention, Franco signed in the previous video, and now at the start of this video, you'll see Nico Hülkenberg has signed. But we're meeting with Kimi Antonelli to see if we can try and maybe get him in as maybe a backup replacement or something, because you know he's going to get buffed when that patch comes out. And I don't know if he's been buffed with the current driver ratings update, but as you can see with the training activity, we're looking to get Kimi Antonelli on board with either Nico Hülkenberg or with Franco Colapinto for season number 2. As we enter a season break, we have a department event for the personnel facility, which is our new supplier has delivered the supplies quite quickly, and we have a plus 5% increase in workforce hire rate. So that's kind of good for our workforce. However, after the season break, more talks with Kimi Antonelli as we are trying to get him on board for our team for 2026. And as you can see, driver expectations of the team, fan rating level 3, 5th vehicle performance ranking there. And yeah, talks are going quite well with Kimi Antonelli. And yeah, with nothing left, no upgrades to do, with no department events or with no driver talks left, it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix as we get confirmation of the Mercedes supplier upgrades. I believe one of them is durable and the other one is a power upgrade. So there is our fan rating. Level 3 right now, we are a quarter of a way through level 3. So yeah, we just need to score more points on the board. So yeah, performance wise, as you can see, there's all of our accolades right there, and no team rivalries yet. However, without further ado, it's time for round 13, Brazil.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Stroll, Lando Norris and Antonelli, Gasly, Russell, Tsunoda and Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen, Ocon, Isaac Hadjar and Albon. Fernando Alonso, Behrman, Nico Hulkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto. Doohan, Lawson, Voisin and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me today...
Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot, this is a sprint weekend, so we're going to do the sprint race first, get some of the highlights of the sprint race out the way, and then we're going to go in towards qualifying for the main race, starting last place because we took some component changes. However, from last, let's see what we can do in the sprint race.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. As all the cars take their positions on the grid, the final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
I'm not going to lie, I don't really know how to feel about the car's performance this weekend, to be quite honest. You know, I do have better pace around this circuit than I'd say, you know, some of the other tracks that we've done recently, like, you know, Monza and, you know, the previous episode as well. But yeah, we're starting in dead last place, so you never know what's going to happen here for 12 laps here in the sprint race in Sao Paulo, and I believe this is the final sprint race of the season. I'm not really sure, don't quote me on that. Anyways, away we go. We've got Liam Lawson in 20th. We've already jumped Callum Voisin there as we enter turn 1. Going to take the inside line and dive down the inside of Gabriel Bortoleto and also of Jack Doohan in towards turn 2, trying to leave room there. And we are already up in towards P18, so I think the aim of the main race is to try and attack as much as we can in towards on the first lap and see how many positions we gain out of the first lap as we dive down the inside, make a bit of contact there with Ollie Behrman, and it's going to be a drag race between me and Behrman as we go side by side in towards turn number 6, I believe. No, that's turn 6 along right-hander, and now we switch back to the inside as we go down the inside of Nico Hulkenberg, who's going to drive for us in 2026, and we actually make the move stick as we're going to try and also take both Isaac Hadjar and Alex Albon as well in towards that corner, and that's been a good start so far. We've already made 8 positions, I believe. Make that 10 now. Is that 10 because we started P22? Yeah, it is 10, as we hold around the outside of the 4-time world champion Max Verstappen, who is currently in a championship battle with Charles Leclerc, as we also take Esteban Ocon as well. So this has been an action-packed first couple of laps here, as now as we're on the end of lap 4, we've got Carlos Sainz battling along with Yuki Tsunoda, and I think Hamilton trying to go around the outside, as we're also going to try and get Carlos Sainz to be 3 wide in towards turn 1, and we actually make the move as well. And we've overtaken both Carlos Sainz and also Lewis Hamilton right there. Good overtake there, to be fair, considering that, you know, Hamilton in that Ferrari is miles ahead, faster than us. And as you can see, lap 8, Hamilton is going to try and get past us here. We've got Hamilton and Verstappen behind us. That's not what you want to see. As we enter towards turn 1, and we defend from Lewis Hamilton very, very nicely as well. And yeah, we're kind of soaking up the pressure quite well here, as we lose the back end here on the final lap of the race. And yeah, unless Yuki Tsunoda spins and doesn't, it doesn't look like we're going to score any points in the sprint race, unfortunately. However, we have shown quite encouraging pace as we take the inside line. It's going to be P9 here in the sprint race, unfortunately, and we've managed to hold off both Lewis Hamilton and also Max Verstappen. So not a bad sprint race. We started dead last and we finished in P9 thanks to aggressive driving on the first couple of laps there. So yeah, a very good omen as far as what's to come for the actual race. So I'm actually looking forward to the main race now. But yeah, I think we got driver of the day as well, or driver of the sprint race. But yeah, very encouraging signs in the sprint race from last place to P9. And yeah, let's see what we can do in the main race. But first, qualifying.
It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
So here we are then qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And yeah, in recent episodes, qualifying hasn't been our strong point ever since we began the second half of the season. For some reason, our qualifying pace has just disappeared. And yeah, just general lack of pace in the car over the last 3 races has really made this car a little bit more slow. As we come across the line for our first lap, it's 9 flat, which puts us in P5. However, as we begin our final run, we are down in towards P21. So clearly, yeah, our car is just it's the slowest. We are the slowest team as we come to the end of season 1. So as far as objectives for qualifying, I think if we can get anywhere between 18th and 15th, that wouldn't be that bad, and plus we can make up probably 5 positions in the first lap or 2. But exiting the center rest there, we've absolutely nailed that exit there, and we've gained just over 2 temps as we enter Delcino del Lago right now. Go a little bit wide there, downshifting towards third gear. And yeah, we used a little bit more battery. We didn't really abuse the battery on our first lap, and that's actually gaining us a lot of time there, as we are now nearly 4 temps up as we enter the double right-hander, a little bit wide on the hairpin there. Try to take a bit of a tight line and then early shift into 4th gear. Now as we enter sector 3, very awkward corner this. You don't want to be braking too late or too early, and because the exit we're getting, we've absolutely nailed this lap. We've gained nearly 7 temps as we come across the final corner. Maybe could have taken a little bit more speed in towards the final corner, but now we're going to try and drain all of the battery as we come across the line right now. 8th gear, 197 miles an hour. It's going to be an 8.5 temp improvement. We're going to do an 8.142. However, it's only good enough for 17th place, which is yeah, 17th place. Even though we've gained nearly a second of lap time there, that just shows how slow we are as we come across the line now to end qualifying. And yeah, 17th. And yeah, it's quite close between the field right there. But Max Verstappen takes pole with a 169. So yeah, we still have a lot of work to do, but it's quite close between us and Carlos Sainz and Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg did it 8 flat, Sainz did it 8-1, and yeah, really close there. Another 10th, we could have been around about 13th or 14th there, but yeah, all hope is not lost. We just need to be more aggressive for the main race, and hopefully, if luck goes our way, hopefully we can score some much needed points. It's time for the race.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his 3rd championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Piastri, Antonelli, Albon, Russell, and Esteban Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ollie Behrman, and Hülkenberg, Sainz, Colapinto, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Isaac Hadjar, Doohan, Voisin, Stroll, and Liam Lawson rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. Interlagos, always one of my favourite weekends of the season. Love Brazil, adore this track.
Absolutely spot on, Crofty. I wish you could pick this circuit up and place it, copy-paste it on multiple different locations around the planet, because it is sensational to watch, sensational to drive. And for all these drivers here in Brazil, it's a great time to get stuck into this Interlagos circuit. It's an anti-clockwise track, lots of important corners to get right, and it's a track where you can make or lose an awful lot of lap time.
So welcome to the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and the predicted strategy is a 2-stop, 2 mediums and 1 hard. I'm going to increase the tyre pressures just so maybe when we go on that hard stint we can be a little bit more competitive, and I don't think I'm going to change anything, just take away some rear suspension there and increase the rear anti-roll bar there. As you can see, the top 3 are all starting on mediums, and then it's just a mix between medium and hard compound. However, I do believe that the medium hard strategy is the right way to go. However, I don't know, but there might be some drivers that might be doing a 1-stop. However, we'll find out when the race begins.
The formation lap gets underway here in Brazil. Some memorable moments in history have come from this very circuit. Will we be treated to another today? Well, let's find out. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. But the question I'm asking is, which teams have got it right? Which ones have got it horribly wrong?
Hopefully our strategy isn't horribly wrong, because we really need to score some points in the final couple of races of 2025. We've had a good first half of the season, but it's just been the second half that we've just been dropping off, to be honest. And if there's ever a track to really snap out of a performance drought, it's this, as we get ready for round 13 of Season 1 here in Brazil. And here we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's a good start once again by us, as we are side by side, nearly 3 wide with Hulkenberg and also Carlos Sainz down the inside of Ollie Behrman, as we are going towards turn 1. Bit of contact there with Behrman's teammate Esteban Ocon as we exit the centre S's, and we've already made 2 positions at the start, or actually no, probably 3 positions, sorry, at the start of the race. In towards turn 4, can we dive down the inside of Pierre Gasly? And yes, we do. And it's a good start by us, as I think Charles Leclerc is actually taking the lead from Max Verstappen there at the start of the race. So that's very interesting as far as the championship battle. Now, switching back to us, we're going to go down the inside of Esteban Ocon, and as you can see there, we've got the both Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli and also George Russell there. Bit of contact with Yuki Tsunoda's rear diffuser. As I've said, we have to try and be aggressive at the start of this race, and that's the only way we're going to try and make positions up in this race, is if we are aggressive at the start of this race. So at the end of lap 1, we've already made 7 positions, because we started in P17, and now on the beginning of lap 2 we're going to go around the outside of Kimi Antonelli, and that is us already in towards 9th place. So aggressiveness is the answer in this race. We've already, chopped off a lot of drivers so far, and we've overtaken now Kimi Antonelli. So now it's just about, I'd say, sticking with, George Russell and maybe Alex Albon, and maybe if those 2 battle it out, maybe a little bit, hopefully we can just try and stick with them. But dirty air in this game will be a factor in the next coming 10 laps, or especially in towards the end of the first stint, as Russell's now bolted away from Alex Albon, as we got a yellow flag in towards turn 1. Is it a Haas? I believe that might be Ollie Behrman, and I believe it is Ollie Behrman. Behrman is out of the Brazilian Grand Prix on lap number 7, and I think that might be an engine issue, and it is an engine issue for the Haas driver. We haven't really seen much of Ollie Behrman so far in this series, so yeah, who knows what's going to happen with him in 2026, considering Fernando Alonso is retiring, so that might, cause a chain swap of driver seats. However, we got another yellow flag on lap number 11, as we are scheduled to box, and I believe it's one of the McLarens, and that's Lando Norris. Norris is out of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it's the same issue once again for Lando Norris as it is with Ollie Behrman, an engine issue, and that does not bode well, considering that we are also using Mercedes engines, but hopefully our Mercedes engine can make it to the end of the race. Lap number 12 now, and we are following Alex Albon in for our first 2 stops. We're going to go for another set of medium tyres, and then I think lap 23 or lap 24, we're going to go onto the hard tyres, completing our 2 stops. So hopefully the strategy works, because if it does work, we'll have fresh tyres. And actually, I believe Alex Albon got held up there, so hopefully maybe his pit crew took longer there with a pit stop or something, but we've jumped Alex Albon, and that's absolutely huge, because now we can run in clean air and give Alex Albon some of the dirty air that he's been giving us over the last 8 or 9 laps. So yeah, very good stop there by the pit crew, and that just goes to show that if you do invest in the pit crew, they can win you races. And so far, yeah, we are doing a good job, as we've got Isaac Hadshaw coming in on lap number 15 here, and he's on the, is he on the hard tyres? Yeah, he is on the hard tyres, so he is, wait, no, he's on the soft tyres, I've just seen, so he's probably doing a hard, soft, medium tyre strategy. But now lap number 17 now, Russell and also Verstappen are in. I believe they're doing 1 stop, so that's going to be very interesting, as Alex Albon has overtaken us for P10. So yeah, so this might be the battle, 4 points between me and Alex Albon, as we have DRS, and Verstappen comes out 4.5 seconds ahead of us. Kimi Antonelli is now coming in on lap number 18, and he is also on the 1 stop as well. So I think this race is going to be decided as far as tyre strategy and also 1 last stop. And if you notice the Hungarian Grand Prix this past weekend, that was also decided with a 1-stop strategy as well. Norris takes the win over Piastri because he did 1 stop compared to Piastri's 2. But now, lap 20, the race is kind of dying down a bit. We're just following Alex Albon, and we're in a great position. We're in P9 right now, so we're not trying to really, gain any more positions. We're just trying to follow Alex Albon here, and we're just trying to run our own race. But now, as you can see, Jack Doohan, he stayed out on the hard tyres, and now he's coming in for his 1 and only stop, and he's going to be switching onto the medium tyres, which is great for us because Alex Albon can now be unleashed, which is another position gain for us. So we are in a very, very good situation here as we come in towards lap 23 with 13 laps to go of this race, and we are making our 2nd stop. So now this is where the race is going to be decided, because some of the drivers are making a 1 stop work. However, you've got us, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda staying out, but yeah, and you've got Albon as well. So we are pretty much committing to the 2-stop strategy, as Alex Albon just about, gets out ahead of us. So we've closed the gap from pretty much a second there, because for the last 2-3 laps Albon was extending the gap to a second, maybe a second and a half, but now we've been able to jump Alex Albon and close the gap now to the point where we're still in his DRS. So now lap 25, Liam Lawson is now coming in, and now Alex Albon is going to try and bail, but we're going to have to try and use all of our battery to stay with Alex Albon, and this is where the race is going to be decided. Jack Doohan is pretty much doing a 1-stop from the hards to the mediums, and now Alex Albon is going to get past him, and there it is. So Albon gets past Jack Doohan there, and now if we want to stay in the points, we're going to have to try and get past Jack Doohan in towards turn number 6, hug the inside curb there, and we've overtaken Jack Doohan, and that is a massive move for us, considering that now we have now caught this train of Gasly. I think that's also Yuki Tsunoda as well. So this goes in towards P8 now. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting final 4 laps of this race, as Tsunoda and Gasly going side by side in towards center S there, and I believe Gasly has retained position now, but because those two are fighting, we have now caught up to Alex Albon. So if there's ever a time to make a move, it's right now, as we go in towards double right-hander. If it breaks early, we're going to send it down the inside. We do send it early down the inside, and that is P10. That is the move we've been wanting to make all race long, and patience has worked, because now we are now ahead of Alex Albon and Gasly and Tsunoda. They're on worn tyres. Gasly's on worn mediums and Tsunoda is on worn hards because they've been doing the one stop. Around the outside we go with Pierre Gasly in towards Center S, and we've overtaken Pierre Gasly, and now we're in P9 with a couple laps still to go. And now, because of our fresh tyres, we now have a bit of a gap towards Pierre Gasly. However, we need to make this move on Yuki Tsunoda if we want to score more points as we start the final lap of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Tsunoda goes defensive. He's going to stick to the middle. We're going to go around the outside. However, we're going to switch back in towards turn 1. That doesn't work. So we're going to actually get the run out of turn 3 and in towards turn 4. And if we can try and get the run in towards turn 4, we can overtake Yuki Tsunoda. We've got overtake. We're going to burn all of our battery. We're going to down the inside. Tsunoda goes defensive in towards the middle of the circuit. However, we've retained position and we've gained P8 in this race as Charles Leclerc wins the Brazilian Grand Prix and he closes the gap to Max Verstappen in the Drivers' World Championship. However, the race is not over. We're a little bit wide in towards the final corner, Hamilton corner, and now it's going to be a drag race between us and the Red Bull. As we go over the top of the hill, we have to burn all of our battery and pretty much go on the inside line. Which way is this going to go? Tsunoda is side by side. Where have we finished? I don't know where we finished.
Race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory, he wins! It's been a hard afternoon of brilliant racing, but now it's time for some proper celebrations. The podium awaits. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc. Charles Leclerc on top.
What a finish to that race. I don't even know where we are. I think we finished in P8. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to VAR that, but that was a very, very close finish. Probably half a tenth separating us and Yuki Tsunoda there. But for Charles Leclerc, his championship is back on with this victory here today. And now the gap is 25 points with 3 races to go. However, for us, that was a very close finish between us and Yuki Tsunoda, but we scored points, and that is all that matters. And there it is, confirmation that we have scored 4 points, 8th place. And wow, look at that, 2 thousandths of a second separates us and Yuki Tsunoda there. And yeah, what a race from P17. P16, sorry. From P16 all the way to P8, we made 8 positions in that race, and we were the second leading car on a 2-stop strategy. So, yeah, I'll take that. That was a very, very good race from us there. A very, very good race, considering all things. And, yeah, 4 more points in towards this season. And, yeah, that is a very much-needed result. After the dud of the previous couple of races now. And yeah, the fan rating going back up like it should do. And yeah, now we've got 3 more races in towards the end of season 1, and hopefully we can try and score more points as we round out 2025 and hopefully start progress for 2026. Anything else happening? No, we've got a cockpit weight reduction upgrade coming for the next episode, which is in Las Vegas, so look forward to that. Well, thanks for watching this episode of F1 25, my Team Career Mode series. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more F1 25 Career Mode content, check out the playlist on the left, on the right, and also one of my videos on the left hand side. If you smell, well, the Scouse one's cooking.